All right. Good afternoon. Here's something most people never stop to consider. The Bible wasn't written to you and never was. I know that sounds like heresy to some folks, especially if you grew up thinking that verse you highlighted in blue ink last Sunday was a love letter straight from heaven to your heart. But here's the thing. These weren't blog posts written last week by God for modern readers. These were letters, ancient letters written to specific people in specific places, dealing with specific problems, none of which involved social media algorithms, dating apps, or your grandma's cancer diagnosis. Paul wasn't writing to you. I repeat, Paul wasn't writing to you. No, or me, or anyone. He was writing to a bunch of first century house churches in Corinth, where else? Galatia, Thessalonica, trying to keep them from imploding over food laws and circumcision and pagan orgies. Yeah, the Old Testament, that wasn't aimed at you either. That was Hebrew scripture written for the Jews, by the Jews, about Jewish history and identity, not for 21st century Americans looking for a daily devotional. And yet, people, Christians, Catholics, whatever, the religious, still walk around quoting verses like they were DM'd, this direct message, from the divine last night. I know the plans I have for you, they say, ignoring that it was written to a group of Israelites in Babylonian exile, right? Not to their teenage daughter applying to a cosmetology school. You want to hear something wild? Okay, ready? Even the New Testament letters don't mention Gospels like Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John because they probably hadn't even been written yet. No eyewitness accounts. No disciples with tape recorders. Just stories that got passed around by word of mouth like a game of telephone, twisted over time by the church politics, gossip, and people adding their own spin. And that's not some edgy conspiracy. That's the consensus of respected historians like Richard Carrier, Bart Ehrman. And if any of you are on TikTok, by the way, check out a dear friend, Patrina, yeah, a former Christian for over 20-something years who was deconstructed from Christianity. And she even has a live show. Anyone can participate. Also Jeff for Truth. And there are many others. So anyway, time for a little short coffee break. Be right back. All right, back. Yeah, check out Richard Carrier, his lectures on YouTube, or books by Bart Ehrman, who used to be a New Testament scholar at Princeton Theological Seminary, and even ex-pastors like Dan Barker, who've been on both sides of the pulpit. Now look, I'm not knocking anyone's need for comfort. I get why someone would want to believe that an all-powerful being left them a personalized book of answers. I've been there. Was a Christian for, how many, 20, 25 years or so. But that book, that collection of ancient scrolls, wasn't written in your language, our language. Wasn't written in your time or for your culture. It's not that it has no value. It's that we've projected ourselves into it like an Instagram filter, editing out the contradictions, ignoring the context, and pretending it's all about us. Kendrick Lamar, right? But sometimes the most liberating truth is realizing it's not about you. It never was, and that's okay. So, want to go deeper? Then let's talk about who actually did write it and why. Because the answer ain't God. So stay tuned for part 2. Have a good evening.